Hey there guys, happy Halloween to all my beloved Proguides family. My name is Vinny. You might recognize me as the guy who writes quite a few of these Proguides videos, and I'm going to be voicing this one as well for you today. So what you're watching in the background here is going to be gameplay from me and some friends. This was before we perfected the strategies that we're going to talk about in this video, but we kind of had an idea and we started implementing them in this game in order to get the win, which we happened to run up against some cheaters as well. And if it was good enough to beat cheaters, then I think it's going to be good enough for the average game. So we're going to break it down into a couple parts. We're going to start with the roles. Just like a normal game of Dota, there's going to be 5 roles, but they're going to be much different. We're going to talk about the best hero picks, what the best meta picks are for Diretide, because I mean, it's for fun, but winning kind of matters. Like, we want all that free stuff, right? And then we're going to talk about some specific numbers and the interactions with Candy and Roshan. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the roles. The most important role is that of the Candyman, as we call it. So the Candyman is the main person who's going to be depositing your candy into your bucket. The bucket is kind of like your tier 4s almost, right in front of your fountain. And that is where you deposit candy that you collect from the lane, because the creeps in the lane drop candy when killed. You're going to collect that candy by simply walking over it, and then you want to take it back to your bucket in order to score for your team. Just holding the candy doesn't do anything. The Candyman's job is going to be to go from lane to lane to collect all the candy from your other 4 heroes. If you are one of those other 4 heroes, what you should be doing is hitting Control X on your Candyman to make sure you pile it all onto him, and once he accumulates something like 25 candies, then they want to go back to the bucket and deposit that all at once. This just ensures that all the lanes are achieving maximum efficiency so that we are still collecting candy and only losing out on time from one hero, instead of kind of a back and forth trickle from all 5. Another advantage of having a dedicated Candyman is that your risk of dying and losing candy becomes a lot lower, because the Candyman is already playing in the back line, kind of traveling back and forth from these lanes. So if you give away all your candy on the frontline heroes, well, you can't lose any candy if you don't have any. The next role is that of the guard. The guard is going to be the hero that wants to lock down one lane. So there's 2 lanes. Generally at the start of the game, one lane will have 3 heroes and the other will have 2. But as the game progresses, you're going to want to play 4 in one lane and then 1 solo hero. So your solo hero, that is the guard. So let's talk about why the games at a high level come down to this. You're going to want to be as 4 because when the scarecrows spawn at minutes 2 and 4, you want to dedicate as many heroes as you need in order to secure that scarecrow, because the scarecrow is going to drop large amounts of candy as well as valuable neutral items. Those are the only ways that we've discovered to find neutral items is from the scarecrows. What the guard is accomplishing is protecting your well. The well is kind of like a tower. It's the thing right in front of the buckets. There's 1 in each lane. If the well gets destroyed, you lose, it's about 10 candy from your bucket. So that's essentially a 20 candy swing, because you're losing 10 and the enemy will gain those 10. So you have to protect that. You don't want to let it die for nothing. The guard should be a hero that's great at locking down a lane, such as a Venomancer or Sand King. And what the guard is going to do is also generate an experience advantage for your team, because experience is global in this mode. It doesn't matter if you're near the creep or what. As long as anyone's near a dying creep, the whole team gets the experience. So the guard is going to generate a lot of experience, while the 4 are either pushing, fighting, or doing the scarecrow. The third role is that of the cleric, which this is kind of like a white mage from an old school RPG. This person only exists to heal and sustain and build items that are going to help in team fights, because that's really all this mode is team fighting. So this hero should be packing Vlads, Greaves, Pipe. Spirit Vessel I find is almost a must in this mode because it's so easy to get those charges and you never ever want to go home to heal. Never. It's almost better to die, because if you're not the Candyman, you shouldn't really be losing any candy for dying anyway. Crimson Guard, also another great option for your cleric. And the last role, well, the last major role, because this is only 3, the last major role is that of, we'll call it just the Scarecrow. This is your single target DPSer. They're made to focus down the Scarecrow, clear it out as fast as possible, collect all those candy. They're good for doing single target DPS to the enemy's Taffy Guard, I think it's called, the Taffy Monster. Sounds like something from Sesame Street. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but the Taffy Monster in front of the wells. This is the guy that just kills. That's their only purpose. They're just like a carry from regular Dota, but even more aggressive than that. They just focus solely on DPS, because living in this mode is not so important. Like, you don't horribly need those tanky items as much, because the most you're ever dead for is only 20 seconds. So we're talking pure damage, like multiple data lists. Data lie? The last role we're calling Flex, and this is just your flexible hero. It can fill any niche that you want. Right now, it looks like that should primarily be a hypermobile hero or a team fighter. Hypermobile heroes are very good in this mode, because what you are hoping to happen is that Roshan targets your hypermobile hero, and then if you don't have the candy to feed him, your hypermobile hero can kite him out for quite a while. A dedicated team fighter is also really nice for this role. Heroes like Tidehunter are good, but long cooldowns are something that you don't really love in this mode. The rounds are only 6 minutes, so you do want to look a little bit more toward those lower cooldowns for your team fighter. But again, this can be just another DPS hero, it can be a save hero, it can be kind of whatever you want. Just make sure you're filling in the gaps that your other 4 roles are not achieving particularly well. On to the top meta picks. Let's go through this role by role. So who are the best heroes to play the Candyman or the Candy Collector? Your S tiers are going to be all the spirits: Ember Spirit, Void Spirit, Storm Spirit, Earth Spirit. These are insanely good Candymen because they're just hypermobile. They're so fast. They can get back and forth from each lane. Other high tier Candymen are Nature's Prophet for obvious reasons. You don't need a hypermobile hero to be the Candyman, but you absolutely want it. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you do not pick one of the spirits or Nature's Prophet. For the guard role, your best heroes are going to be Sand King, Venomancer, Underlord, and Techies. Yes, Techies is probably S tier in this mode. Other options are Kunkka, Keeper of the Light, and even Jakira, but just somebody who can sit in that lane without being too scared and keep out the waves. For the Cleric or the Healer role, we are looking for a combination of tanky heroes and traditional healers. So, Io, Oracle, Phoenix, Doom and Dragon Knight can work as well. Darkseer, Elder Titan, Dazzle is a really good one with the lowered cooldown. Necrophos. There's a large range of heroes that can play this role. You just want to be able to be up in the middle of the fights, providing all these auras, and any sort of synergy with healing is an added bonus. Abaddon, another great option. For the Scarecrow or the DPS role, your 5 S tiers are Clinks, PA, Drow, Sniper, and Juggernaut. All these heroes have insane crit, pretty much about it, or have good options with armor piercing like Drow. Drow's aura is especially insane in this mode since there's so many team fights and teams are so grouped up, so you can get a lot of value out of Drow. For your flex hero, anything we've already mentioned works, especially the spirits. I really think the spirits are like a double S tier in this mode. Essentially, the fill role is going to take over whoever's dead right now or whoever's busy right now. And the spirits can kind of do it all. Like, they have a lot of variable builds with, for example, DPS Void Spirit. That can be your carry hero too, and your Candyman. Now for some important and maybe not quite widely known game mechanics. Candy, you do not need to last hit the creep in order for it to drop candy. But if you do land the last hit on the creep, the candy will bounce toward you, making collecting it way easier. So if you're a ranged hero, it's very important you get those last hits, or you could be actively helping the enemy team by making them have easy access to candy if they're a melee hero. Those wells, when destroyed, take 10 candy from your bucket and throw it on the ground, which, like we mentioned earlier, is effectively a 20 candy swing. Scarecrows spawn at 1, 3, and 5 minutes. They're kind of like at the center of the map, but at the very top and the bottom. There's up to 5 rounds. You have to be the first one to win 3. Each round is 6 minutes. The general breakdown is choose which lane to go 3 heroes in, send 2 to another. Once Scarecrows start spawning at 1 minute, then you break up into 4 1 lanes. But that guard hero, if needed, can definitely come to the Scarecrow fight as well. Pushing lanes is nice, but not always that important, because the way you win is candy, and sometimes you're making it easier for the enemy, especially at the end of the game, to collect their candy, because candy is going to start spawning nearer to their bucket, right, if you push into them, which means that they can return their candy to the bucket at a faster pace. However, if you are behind, you are going to want to do some aggressive moves in order to get candy from hero kills. Which again, you don't directly get candy from hero kills, but you can steal it if they're holding candy. Big bonus to Silencer, kind of a hero that doesn't fit into any role we discuss. He can use Global Silence in order to cancel the channel of somebody turning in the candy. So that's kind of a epic play you can make at the last minute. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope that you find your way into a lot of free treasure with this guide. Please let us know what you've discovered, what your opinions on this video are. Like if you liked it, subscribe, and hit that follow button to see the new videos we got coming out for you. Thanks for watching. You have a good day.